Joining us now, former senior advisor to President George W. Bush, Karl Rove. Karl, good to see you. All right, so we're talking a lot about kitchen table today. I'm looking at Biden on those kitchen table issues. He's failing on them. But tonight, we're hearing he's going to go out and call for higher taxes on businesses as his centerpiece. Is that a smart move?
Well, it doesn't seem to be dealing with the issue that most people are feeling at around the kitchen table or when they go to the grocery store or go to the store to pick up some clothes for the kids for school. And that is that the prices today are dramatically higher than they were 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago when he came into office. We've seen roughly an 18% increase in prices since he came into office, and the median household income has dropped 5%. And that delta of about 23, 24% is difficult for families to deal with because they're dealing with it every single day. And I'm not certain that saying I'm going to go tax the corporations is going to say anything to them about how he's going to help them deal with that quandary that they face of higher prices and incomes that have not kept up.
I want to talk about those taxes. Biden wants to eliminate tax breaks for companies who pay anyone more than $1 million. Trump, of course, cutting taxes to spur investment. Which strategy works?
Well, obviously, the Trump strategy worked better because the economy was better back then than it is today. And think about it. Does he really think that penalizing successful leaders of big companies is a way to help America grow stronger? And to say to companies, if you pay somebody more than $1 million, you're going to lose the ability to write that off as a necessary expense. I mean, look. Are we back to class hatred? Right. Are we back to say people who are successful, who are building companies and creating new products have to be penalized because they've been too successful?
Karl, I want to ask you about the debate, potential debate, I think I should say right now, because the White House refuses to confirm whether or not President Biden will engage former President Donald Trump in a debate. So I'm wondering, whether the State of the Union address tonight could potentially be, the voters' opportunity to see how President Biden stacks up under pressure, speaking before an audience that, includes many people that are not aligned with him on both sides of the aisle. Karl, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, a president will dominate the State of the Union address. I can't remember the last time that an election year State of the Union address was dispositive in the outcome of the election. It's important, don't get me wrong. Particularly, it's important if he makes a mistake. If he flips a line, if he loses his place, that could be problematic. But this is going to be the biggest moment that he'll have until the Democratic Convention. But this is a moment where people look at him as the president, not so much as a candidate. But at the end of the day, I'm not certain how important it is to the election, except to the degree that he could either makes a mistake or begins to shape a path that the American people say that makes sense. As our leader, he's doing the right thing. And right now, they don't think he's doing the right thing. On every major issue of the day, he is upside down. That is to say, more people disapprove of what he's doing about immigration or the economy or inflation or foreign policy than they approve of what he's doing.
And Karl, they say he's ready for some sparring. I'm interested to see what that looks like, but we'll have to leave it there. Karl Rove, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.